welcome to a very special episode of Pedalboards of Doom Live. Do forgive me, I'm just going through a million different screens trying to get everything up and running.
Ooh.
It's nice to see you here. Today we have some special guests. Who do we have?
So
the Budget Pedal. Would you like to introduce some people?
Yeah, so who is this to the left of me here? Who are we talking to? Has that worked? Have I done it the right way? I'm still getting used to this Discord thing.
Right way, yeah.
Beautiful.
We could do one. Yeah, can't we?
So who have I got here to the left of me?
You have Kim Bjørn. I'm one of the authors. I'm the co-author of Pedal Crush, and also I've authored some other books from Bukes, our little publishing company.
Nice.
So yeah, that's me, and I'm sitting in Copenhagen right now. Usually do. Actually,
beautiful town. If you've never been to Copenhagen, you sort it out because it's wonderful. It really is a lovely place.
Okay. I have not been to Copenhagen, and I will take your advice. I will one day go there, but it's not going to be very soon because global events.
No one's
and all
going.
that. So below me here, who have I got? Am I talking that way? No, sorry.
My name is Scott. I have a YouTube channel called Knobs. I wrote the other half of this book with Kim. This book.
So from about page 250 onwards, or was it?
I did my share.
We'll get into the dirty details of that.
Kim and I got very close over the span of a few months.
This sounds like we're getting a bit of an exclusive scoop here.
Hey guys, thanks for having us. By the way,
thank you so much for coming on. So, for those who aren't aware about this book, which you've got to be living under a rock for a good 6 months now if you haven't heard of it. But can you just give us a little bit of an introduction as to what's going on in this lovely, quite weighty book?
So do you want to do that, Scott? It's all me.
All you.
So I can basically read from the back of the book. We call it the definitive book on Stumpbox effects.
Yes.
It might not be, but it's also like a little trip into this mesmerizing world of pedals. And it's 376 pages, and we have 50 interviews in the book from all kinds of artists, and there's more than 800 pedals. We don't have every pedal ever issued in this book. It's impossible. And there's a lot of companies we've talked to also.
Yes.
And it's a very illustrative. There's a lot of photos, a lot of illustrations, a lot of beautiful pedals. So,
which basically means it's great for us musicians because there's lots of pictures and you don't have to do as much reading.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was hoping
when I opened it up, I was really pleased because I was like, "Oh wow, there's loads of really cool pictures in it," and it's every page is illustrated lovely in a lovely way. So yeah, I was quite happy about that.
It's like a grown-up.
You thought it was going to be terrible.
It's a bit like a grown-up version of browsing a lot of my Facebook groups. They're usually filled with pictures of loads of pedals, but this has got intellectual writing rather than people calling each other all kinds of names.
There's no advertising. There's no trolls in this.
Yeah,
no.
We kept the name calling to a minimum.
Don't set them off. They're watching live.
Indeed, yeah, they'll have us.
I'm used to reading books that are this thick, and it's just have you ever read Wheel of Time? There's 14 books, and each one of them's this big, and I've just finished that series. So when I opened this, and I got it, and it was wow, this is really thick. And when I opened it, and I was oh, it's like a treasure trove of beautiful colours and all these sort of things. That was really cool. But importantly for me, it doesn't just say this is a pedal and this pedal has a drive knob and this sort of thing. There's loads of tips in it and these sort of things, which is really, really helpful. I found that endlessly helpful. We were talking just a minute ago about one of the things that I found, and I didn't go into too much detail of it, but I'm quite a big Deep Purple fan. I've really loved Deep Purple for a long, long time, and one of the things I saw in there was how Richie Blackmore has been using was it an octaver?
That was your bit, Kim. Yeah.
Was it my bit? Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
But you'll
Yes.
find it very fast.
Let me just search it.
It was a star. I think he said he used it on Stargazer and on the In Rock album, which is like one of the best albums ever. You know, you finish an album with Child in Time, you're going to be, you're on to a winner.
That was a relatively early Purple.
Small stories. Yeah.
It was the first one with Ian Gillan. Brilliant album.
He was all right. He was, wasn't he, Ian Gillan? He could sing a note or two.
Still does, man. Still does.
It's the kind of small side stories we try to plump in there, besides all the, the more technical stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's a fine balance, isn't it? Trying to put enough information in that it goes beyond the kind of surface level stuff that you can just quickly Google, but then not putting so much in that you end up rolling people's eyes back in their head because they're like, oh, okay, they're talking about the forward voltage of the diodes.
Totally. We noticed very quickly that if you, like, each chapter would kind of write itself in a way because each pedal has something about it that makes it interesting. Like, I found modulation, for example, I did want to get more technical because otherwise there's not a ton to say, but like the technical differences between different kinds of modulation are actually really compelling and it makes the effects stand out. So yeah, sometimes you want to talk about diodes and other times you really don't. And yeah, it was nice. It kind of like that decision was made for us almost by the kind of effects.
Yeah.
You've got a great page on there about vibes, and it talks about how vibes aren't quite flat phasers, and you've given like 3 different examples of where other types of effects sit, and how vibes are ever so slightly different to like phasers. And I can't remember what the other one was, but it was really interesting to see that laid out because it's nice to understand what you've been hearing. But it was really cool.
I love that spread because I think that's one where it almost wasn't very good. Like to be honest, because we had like a deadline for this book, and I remember specifically this page. Our first crack at it. It was okay, but it was a little bit more of that. Like, here's a vibe pedal, and here's a vibe pedal, and like Kim and I were already just like not sleeping a lot and really tired. And so but it just didn't feel right. And I remember the moment where we decided to change it was just like vibe is always the like forgotten sibling of modulation. And it just seemed like we were doing the same. We were just like, like this page is okay. It's good enough.
Yeah.
But we decided to, give it a moment, and it's a cool effect. So yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorite effects. But since I read that, I went back and I've got like a one-player Terraform on my pedal over here, on my pedal board, sorry. And I kind of thought, let's go and try the vibe out a bit more. And I spent a bit more time with it. And from the way I read it, I kind of understood what I was hearing a bit better and started getting those throaty sort of sounds. I was like, do you know what? This is actually really, really good. And it got me into liking it just because I could understand it a little bit better. And like I was saying, I know a shit ton about effects, but it's hard to know everything about every type of effect. Maybe you guys do, obviously. you know,
absolutely.
I'm not sure. No, I think that, but it's interesting what you say because that's what Scott stressed in his part of the foreword. Actually, if you remember that, Scott, about just going deep with one pedal, and it's usually the same whether it's your instrument, it's a Eurorack module, or it's a pedal. Just concentrating on one thing, really focused. You start learning new stuff and dig beneath the surface, so to speak.
In the comments, I'm being hit by various people on various different forums all saying, I love Vibe. Vibe's the best. Vibe is king.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, another cool thing about that Vibe section, I really like this, is that, you're talking BudgetPedalChap. You were talking about like going on the internet and finding things. we realized writing this book that you can't actually do a lot of stuff when it comes to pedals because they were made in a time where the internet didn't exist and like nobody cares. So like you can't find it. But for the vibe, there's an illustration, you know, like a phaser and a vibe, they work by creating these like frequency notches and then moving them around. And there was no illustration anywhere for what those notches look like on a vibe pedal. So we just had somebody draw them, somebody who is like experienced with this stuff. So yeah, that's the thing.
Nice. Yeah.
I'd say there's a lot of stuff that we just couldn't Google. I mean, Scott, you spend a lot of time experimenting with your pedals and stuff, and we sought out people, you know, who knew certain stuff about a specific thing. It was really important to us that it wasn't like what do you call it, secondhand knowledge, so to speak. Yeah.
And we just learned that you had to. Like, there's certain things. There's some subjects where you couldn't possibly read everything ever written about them, and then there's others that there's nothing, absolutely nothing on the internet. And
can you give us an example?
Well, that's one. And you know, the thing is, like, we didn't want to put it in writing if we weren't confident about it. So there were certain things that we all kind of like anecdotally know or think we know, but we wanted to like have sources and things verified and be able to illustrate things. Like, it's one thing to know it, but to illustrate it, you really have to get on another level. And there's tons of things. We had like, there's a guy named Mark Hammer who is a huge resource, and he's been like helping people on forums for I think decades, and is just like one of these people that is trusted for knowing these things from firsthand experience. And like, he would be our last line of defense, kind of, if things couldn't be found anywhere else.
I'd say also great. Just to add to that this book is very much a group effort. I mean, it's really hard to make such a book like one person. I'd say it's impossible, and no one knows everything. So it's a bit like the internet, I guess. Yeah,
you could be fooled into thinking that that's not the case on the internet, couldn't you? Because everyone seems to be an expert.
Sorry, guys. I'd like to ask all the viewers watching us if you could kindly just share the stream so more people can join in. That'd be absolutely lovely. Thank you so very much. So, so the vibe was one thing. Let me ask you guys, each of you, what's your favourite effect type? And what's your favourite effect pedal?
Ooh.
For me, it's loopers. Easy. Yeah. Loopers are my favorite.
Not bloopers, but loopers.
What?
Not bloopers, but loopers.
Well, I mean, blooper is my favorite, but that's like, I can't answer that. That's not fair. Loopers are easily my favorite. Or like, you know, certain delays that can do looping by extension. Blooper is my favorite, but that's biased as hell. So, I don't know.
So what is it about loopers that fascinates you? And
it is, you know, something I've really just admitted to myself in the past year is that all of my musical ideas start and end with loops. Like, that's just, I can make music without them, but it's always mediocre. But when I just get together with a looper, I think it's just how I learned to make music in a way that like really satisfied me. So it's like, it's just my space where things make sense. It's that simple. And it's because you can record things in a way that has no visible tempo or structure. Like, that's kind of what I need. Even getting into like a DAW, as soon as I see that grid and things start making sense, it makes like too much sense for me. Whereas loopers, it's just like, you know, your foot is punching in that information.
Yeah, it's like an amorphous blob of time rather than structured segments of it.
Yeah, as soon as I start trying to make sense of music, I become, like, to my ear, very mediocre. And loopers allow me to get into this more free space.
Awesome.
You did a really cool video recently on your new format of videos where we actually see you. It was with that sequencer, the digital sequencer.
Which one?
Oh, great. I thought you were going to go, oh, yeah, that one.
Oh, no. Yeah, the tracker.
Yes, the tracker.
Yeah.
So I was watching that a few weeks back, and I think it was not that long ago actually. But yeah, it was really interesting because you said like you don't like to be confined, and you kept pushing them away, pushing them aside, thinking no, this isn't for me. I don't like the confines. And yet you still managed to make it sound like you, and that was quite impressive, really, because most people can't do that on the guitar.
I mean, yeah, that's my exception, I guess, is taking a grid and like trying to break it. But you know, like the stuff I did with it was nonsense. Yeah, like I was using it wrong, and I think that's the only exception. Anyway, it's very personal.
It's musical expression. Using it wrong, you know, as long as it's not jazz.
No. I'm sure we might have one or two jazzes on.
Dear. Oh dear.
I love jazz. No, we all do love jazz. Sure. Yeah, but no, that was a really interesting thing. So I don't think the trackers were featured in the book. Is that right? Or were they? If I just not got to that page yet.
No, because there's no pedal trackers. They're like we kind of really drew the line there. I think like if it didn't have a stomp switch, we usually didn't include it. There might be a couple exceptions.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. There are things that I'm just trying to think of things that I use that might not necessarily have a stomp switch. I've got the Victory Duchess pedal board amp, but it does have a switch on it to turn the tremolo on and off, but it doesn't have a bypass on it. So I don't know, would that have come into the book?
We have a few. Like we mentioned the de-arm tremolo, right? Which is a piece of history and didn't have a stomp switch. And
I assume the Rangemaster's in there as well, the original.
Yeah.
The Rangemaster. And I know there's a Boss looper that's tabletop that we decided to include because it did some cool things. But yeah, I mean, we already had to exclude a lot of stuff just because of space constraints. So it just seemed like a convenient way to most pedals kind of require a stomp switch by definition. So
yeah, stomp box, stomp. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, the game changer pedal in the free section.
Oh yeah, it has this.
Oh yes, the
piano pedal.
Yeah. The plus, is it the plus pedal? Yeah.
You mean one of these?
Yeah.
Here's one I made earlier. Yeah. I mean, we had the guy. We had Ilya on from Game Changer. He was a really interesting chap, actually.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? They're cool.
Yeah, he's fun. I've met with him a few times at guitar shows and stuff, and he's a nice bloke.
Mm-hmm.
Just a nice bloke. Okay, so Kim, what about yourself? Favorite pedal type and favorite pedal in particular? Is Kim frozen?
He's in panic.
That's it. Yeah. He's doing that thing in Jurassic Park where they say if you don't move, they won't be able to see you.
He's very good at it.
Very much so. So
he's probably sitting there talking away to us as well.
Oh, poor chap.
Okay.
Whilst we try and recapture Kim, I'm just going to bring this into shot, which is a pedal that I feel has not received the justice it deserves.
This is the part of the show where you shame us, is it?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, as extensive.
Well, Kim's not here.
That's it. So it's all on you. So as extensive and as widespread and as well researched as this book is, it has one glaring omission, and that glaring omission happens to be this pedal. My lighting's not particularly great, but this is the TC Electronic Mojo. And anyone who has followed the Fret Talk podcast or my channel will know that I'm particularly fond of the Mojo.
So we can't ask why did you leave this pedal out, because obviously there's going to be a million pedals that you did leave out. But why did you leave this pedal out?
We hate that pedal. Yeah, that was a deliberate act of omission.
Damn you!
It's never going in. Actually, Can you know what? I would love to know. You guys can maybe help us with this? I'd love to know what. I want to make like a top 10 list of omissions that people think we really should have had in the book. Maybe we can in the second edition. Except that one. That one's never going in. But
Oh man, I've cursed it now, haven't I?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the pedal. It's all down to you.
I mean,
was there a pedal that you thought should be in the book, Lee, or like a personal favorite that?
I haven't read it from page to page, so if I said any particular pedal, the chances are it's. Oh, hang on. Okay, was the MXR Blue Box in there? And if not, why not?
Yes, it was. That thing's awesome.
Right. It's just the best pedal ever. It's amazing. I love that thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being ganged up on here. Lee's favourite pedal. Oh yeah, that's a fantastic pedal. Like, the Mojo Mojo. No,
right.
Never heard of it. No.
Oh, Kim can't connect again. That's odd. Right. Let me see if I can add him here.
And as if by magic, he appeared. No, that didn't work.
Just keep doing it.
That's
That'll
it.
Work.
We got a question in the chat from one of our regular co-hosts, Mr. Will Powell. He says, "Where can I buy this book?"
Oh yeah, all over the place. So there's a website. Let me find it. I think it's We Make Books or Books.com. That's the
it
name
says
of the publishing group.
it says on the back it's Books.com, BJOOKS.com. So you can get it from there.
You can buy it directly from there, but there's also a handy list of resellers at the bottom of the Pedal Crush page by country. So I'm going there now to make sure that's still true. I know somewhere on the website you can, there's a Find a Store tab on that website that has it by country.
Beautiful. I think a large proportion of our listeners are UK and US. So
yeah,
there's
plenty of that. There's plenty of those, and Björk's being based in Denmark is helpful for UK buyers. So.
Yeah, it's very very central, isn't it?
If Kim's still alive, out there somewhere.
Kim, I have to reboot Discord.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I'm sitting there tappy. Right, okay. So let me ask you a question about knobs, because I want Kim to be involved in the book questions as well. So let's take this opportunity to ask a question about knobs.
Let's do it.
What is the most complicated pedal that you've had to demo on knobs? Was it something like a PPL? Is it PLL or PPL? It's PLL, isn't it? Yeah.
PLLs have a lot going on, but they're like unsolvable in a way. So I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure that you would hear someone using a PLL properly versus having no idea what they're doing and be able to tell.
Can
I don't know if that's necessarily true, because when I first ever touched one, it took me ages to even not get a tone out of it, as in saying I get a tone that sounded good. I mean, to get any sound out of it took me ages to actually get something going. So I sat there looking at it like for about 20 minutes, turning things, going, what's going on here?
I mean, there is a way to use a PLL. Like, there is a sensible way to use it, but I think a lot of pedals deliberately don't even give you that option. So I wouldn't say PLL, basically, to cut to the chase. I would say, I know what the most complicated pedal I have is. I've never done a demo on it. It's the 856 for Zellersasson by Montreal Assembly. You guys know that one?
Okay. Yeah, that's the guys who do the count to 5, isn't it? I think I know the pedal you mean.
It's this white looper, and it's very good, and it's like the only pedal I own that I would say is hard. Like, actually hard to use.
It's difficult. Yeah, the difficulty setting is quite high on it.
It's quite high. Like, a PLL is not difficult, because you can just putz around and then stop when you're happy. But that won't work with this pedal. You'll never find a good place. Like, you have to understand it, or you're screwed.
Just to play the devil's avocado here. What's a PLO?
PLL.
Oh, PLL.
I'll tell you, it's well, you stop me if it's too nerdy. I think it's interesting.
That carry on, yeah.
What you get is an oscillator. So, any synth, I'm going to start from the ground floor. Like any synth, the sound making part of a synth is an oscillator, which is just like a pure waveform. What you get in a PLL is you have an oscillator that instead of being played by a keyboard, it tries to follow the input pitch that you put into the pedal. So let's just say that's the guitar. It tries to follow along to your guitar and like play the same pitch. Okay. And it does that by using phase. That's like the mechanism. So PLL stands for phase locked loop. And that's like a unique way to do it. So basically you have like a feedback loop, like a delay where the signal keeps going around and around. And you just have this oscillator that is like constantly checking in with your guitar and being like, are you still doing that pitch? Are you still doing that pitch? And it just does it continuously. And the interesting thing about that is PLLs, the sound that you are used to hearing from them is chaotic. It's really crazy. And it's because that mechanism, you can sabotage it. You can you can make it so the thing listening gets the message like really late, so that it actually can't do its job. And that's kind of like the sound of a PLL. It's like a synth like tripping over itself again and again as it tries to track your instrument.
Almost like it's unsure about itself and it keeps having a double check it, Yeah, so I'm right. You can imagine if you're trying to walk along like as a kid walking along like a really narrow thing and you're balancing. And you've got to concentrate on where you're going. If you're turning back, looking behind you, you're going to fall off.
Totally.
That's my analogy for it.
Is it a little bit like sound-wise? Is it a little bit like analog octave pedals, like a bit in the blue box, where it kind of jumps back and forth between pitches?
The blue box has like a bit of that same kind of like tracking.
Yeah.
Can we swear? Doesn't matter. The moment's gone.
Yeah.
Some of that tracking nonsense. It has a bit of that thing, but with a PLL, it can get like really exaggerated, extremely exaggerated. And it can do these like dive bombs where I don't know technically why the dive bomb happens, but I think it's like wherever the pitch was at the very end, if you stop playing, it's just like, it just like gives up so slowly and tries to return to like, I don't know why it tends to. It almost like returns to like a home base or something.
Yeah, like a reference pitch.
Yeah,
on my board over there, I've got the Merisenzo on there, and the other day I was playing. I was just trying to create some really nice kind of like Carpenter brute sort of tones and these sort of things. So I had that blaring in the background, just trying to get some tones to it. And I just got this tone whenever I hit an F sharp, it did a dive bomb sort of thing. It was just so random. It's just like da 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 da. What is going on here?
That's awesome.
Really, yeah. But I didn't want it to do that. But I kind of was very, very tempted to save it because I was like, I'm not going to be able to get this again.
I've never heard that from the Enzo.
Have you not?
No.
It's one of those pedals, though. Every time you go at it, you'll create a new tone. It's a wonderful pedal. I love that thing. It's really
very convincing. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's when I spoke to Ferris about it, they were like, look, we're up for you doing a demo, but we want you to send your demo to us first because there's a ton of people who can't use this thing.
Yeah.
I still haven't done it yet because I'm still learning the thing. I'm still trying to get my head around it. But it's I love it. I really do love that pedal.
I can almost guarantee that I would be one of those people that they wouldn't allow to send out a demo. Like synthesis.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I'm very much like a blues dad, where I'll play an overdrive pedal, I might even push the boat out and go to a distortion.
Oh boy, settle down.
I know, crazy. But yeah, there's like a synthesis and the more out there sounds I leave very much alone. It's very much where I leave off there, I kind of let Lee take over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not the best at synth, but I love it. I was talking to someone the other day, a pedal manufacturer called Brooks Cork over in the States, and he's really into his synth as well. And I said to him, like, when I was younger and I heard, Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield like hitting those really, really heavy distorted guitars, it got me really excited. I was like, how do they do that? I want to do that. I must have this in my life. And then now I don't get that anymore because I know how to do that. I can do that. It's easy. But I still get those tingles. I still get that excitement with synth. I hear that and I'm like, oh, I got to be able to do that. That's amazing. It's just, oh god, synth is something else. Yeah, it's great.
I think there's a weird thing that happens when you're a musician, at least to some of us. Like, as soon as you understand it, it becomes less good. And so you just keep chasing like weirder stuff. And I think that's how you get to a point where you're making like music just for other musicians, and you never want to hit that point, I don't think, but I can understand how it happens because you just get bored, or like things make too much sense otherwise.
But that's what they say. They call them like tone junkies, and you think about a junkie and they're always chasing their next high, and that's us. We want to kind of chase that next tone. We're like, how do we do it? But if we get there, then what's after that? What's the next step up? What drug is going to take us that next step higher? And then you end up with a PLL.
Yeah, like just a pedal board of PLLs, like 8 PLLs.
Yeah, the Data Corrupt is a PLL, isn't it? I think I read that in the thing, and that's a pedal that a lot of people kind of went, oh yeah, it's a new Earthquaker pedal. Yeah, I've got to get this, and then everyone was like, what have I bought? What is this?
What do I do now? Totally.
I've got absolutely no idea what's happened to Kim.
No, I'm just checking on him, see where he's at. I mean, we're working through some technical issues at the moment, but
okay, so let's move on to the next question then, and hopefully Kim will be able to join us when we're partially through that. So, how did you get Mr. Steve Vai to do the foreword? What on earth happened there?
That is a better question for Kim, but I can answer it in his absence somewhat. Steve wanted to do it. I think that's the simplest answer. He was stoked, and I think that education is important to him. So he just saw an opportunity to share some insight, and it was that simple. It was a bit last minute, so good on him. Like, he really came through. But yeah, I think he just saw the opportunity and wanted to share his experience.
Excellent.
That's so cool. So does Kim have connections with Steve via the previous books then, I'm assuming?
He didn't have a connection, but having published those books, it makes everything easier, right? Like like that's why I decided to join, is I already knew his books and believed in them. I wasn't planning on writing a book, but Kim had published 2. Yeah, not like at all. Kim had published 2 books before this, and they're awesome. They're like, they just strike the right. Actually, this is good he's not here because I can say this and like not make him feel weird. They strike a good balance between, I don't know, just like what I would want in a coffee table book, because they're textbooky enough that they're like worthwhile. It's not just a picture book, but they're still fun, right? I think so. If
I went to the dentist and that was on the table, I'd be well happy.
I'd go, oh yeah, you go ahead of me, that's fine. Yeah, you carry on, I'll go next. Yeah.
We should start selling them to dentists.
we have 3 dots.
It's progress.
Kim, if you are here, you're muted. If that helps at all.
Yeah, he's. We're almost there. I can feel it. In me water.
Thrill of live streaming, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
We tend to not have people drop out normally, but we we do it fairly often, so we're used to it. But it can happen. It can happen.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, everything that could have gone wrong for Kim has gone wrong.
Yeah, his internet's gone down as well.
Hey,
all right, okay,
and he's back.
Is he?
The microphone's off.
I can't see him.
Can you not? I can. Believe me, Kim.
I believe
you are muted. Press unmute.
Oh dear.
Oh well. So we're gonna play. We're now gonna play charades with Kim to answer the questions via the medium of sign language, and it will work really well for a podcast. This will, but
our friend Greedy Greg has said hello from Seattle. Hello, Greedy. Nice to meet you. Howdy. Is that what they say in Seattle, or am I just being somewhat racist there?
Oh dear. Yes, right. You are being culturally insensitively.
It was a legitimate question, but then I realised how I sounded as I was asking.
Oh, do all those Americans go, howdy, ma'am?
You guys hear me now?
Hey!
Yeah, hello.
Oh, sorry about the mess up.
No,
we can
completely
hear you.
fine.
I can't see you, but it's better than what we had.
Me.
I can't see you, but
I can.
Mr. BudgetPedalChap can.
Yep. I'll just describe. So when you're talking, I'll just very quietly into the microphone. I'll describe what your gestures are doing at the time.
Like the audio description.
Indeed, yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Okay, Kim, we were just talking about Mr. Vine and having Mr. Vi do the foreword. Firstly, well done with that, man. That's awesome. What a great introduction to the book.
Thanks.
Yep. So, what was your experience of it? You know, it must have been quite nerve-wracking, having someone of that caliber kind of say, yeah, I'm going to do the intro to your book, because let's face it, if it was rubbish, you couldn't have turned it away.
Well, you seldom get rubbish from those kinds of people. And, you know, we got the connection via some friends, so to speak. Yeah. And he was in for it right away. And usually when it comes down to it, you know, people can be big names, have been in the business for many years, but they are really nerds when it comes down to it, you know, pedal nerds. So he loved talking about this stuff, and we had like 2 or 3 phone conversations around it. And he insisted on writing it, really everything himself. So that was really great. I think it's a really nice introduction to the book.
I've been watching a few of his live streams recently, and he is the biggest nerd in terms of gear and stuff like that. I've watched tons of videos. He loves the Ibanezes and all these sort of things, but he's one of the few other people in the world that owns the same that guitar. There's only like 200 of them, and Vi owns one, so that's like, yes, if Vi owns one, it must be good. So it's you gotta love Mr. Vi. So well done with that, man. It was a really good introduction as well. You know, he very kindly said, you know, it's like a palette for your playing. You know, you can plug into an amp straight away, and you know, we've all done that. We all like doing that. We plug into an amp, Marshall into a Les Paul sort of thing. You can get your rock on. But if you want to add some more textures to it and be inspired, you plug in a few pedals, and you're going to play differently, and you will. We all do.
Yeah.
And that's me kind of summing up what Mr. Steve Vai said, much more elegantly than what I just tried.
I'm sure it was. Yeah, I mean, the Marshall with the Les Paul, it's painting with one color, and there are people who can make absolutely beautiful masterpieces with that sound. But the old adage of the tone is in the fingers. You can't get a modulation sound out of your fingers, or you can't get.
You can.
No, Lee.
You can.
I mean,
but
But you understand what I say? Like you couldn't get a chorusing sound consistently using just your fingers.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get what you mean. I spent a long time trying to work out how to do that.
Yeah,
but you're right. If you wanted to play a really fast lick, you couldn't do it with a chorus sound like you can by just putting on a CE2 or something like that. You know, it's very simple.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, it's allowing that kind of color spectrum, isn't it? And you can there's some songs. I mean, we were talking about this. I think not on the last podcast, on the podcast before, about how there are certain songs where like the sound of the song is intrinsic to the effects that are used. Like the example that we used was
Voodoo Child.
Voodoo Child, yes, of course, and. You imagine that intro without the use of the wah pedal, and you
couldn't do the could you? You couldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you imagine that without the wah pedal, and it doesn't have the dimension that it does with the effect. So
yeah, and I think that's probably where effects kind of like really started to move forward, because it was trying to make the guitar sound like more like a voice, or more like a horn, or more like these other instruments. And it was kind of, what else can I expand this onto? Realized that they didn't work, but the things that they managed to get out of them sounded bloody awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that story about what the Stones were up to with Satisfaction is really interesting, because that was like the first commercial or like big hit of fuzz in a song. And I think it sounds like a brass section. I truly think it does. And I think that fuzzes still have that ability if you change the voicing of like how you play the instrument. And I think that's like a really cool time capsule moment, because that's what fuzz was supposed to do. It was supposed to allow guitarists to sound like brass players. And so the Rolling Stones did that. And then like no one else did, and then like fuzz became this other thing. But like it still has that ability, and it's like a weird little time capsule of that thing, and like how people imagine fuzz. You know, like what's the practical use of fuzz? Well, it makes a guitarist sound like a horn player, and then everyone decided to do something else instead.
Yeah. It sounds much cooler if we do this way.
Yeah.
I was my daughter, she's 3 years old, and when I take her to nursery, we listen to rock music on the way, and we were listening to the Stones the other day, and Satisfaction came on, and I turned around to her and said, Alice, listen to this, because this song is pivotal. And then I thought, she's 3 years old, Lee. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh dear!
Stop what you're doing, daughter.
Yes. Stop enjoying your playtime in the back there. Sit and listen.
Baby shark.
Appreciate it, damn it! Appreciate it. Yeah.
So guys, you obviously had Steve I on board with that, but you must have met some really interesting people on the way through this. I'm assuming that the book took you all over the world to go and see people, interview them. Obviously, you can do it over the computer now, but I bet you use the excuse for it to take you all over the world if you can. I bloody well would have. So, who else did you manage to meet?
Are you still there, Kim?
Yeah. I'm thinking about if I should respond to this, because I think as much as both Scott and I love to travel, and obviously you can just bring a computer with you and you can write from it everywhere. Yeah. But it's simply not. We don't have a budget for world traveling to 50 different countries or whatever.
Yeah.
So much of this is done via email, via Skype, via phone interview. But no, nevertheless, it's really interesting to talk with these people, either pedal makers or artists. Obviously, Scott knew many more pedal makers than me up front, and so we kind of, regarding the contact to people, and we have to kind of massage a bit more than others. But as soon as people saw the previous books, they wanted in.
Yeah.
So that was a good business card to just send books. And I think we also tried to make a really get as diverse a mix as we could between different boutique makers or more pedal makers, and also different kinds of artists, either big or small, or music genre, or whether they're maybe mostly playing keyboards, for example, or if guitar is their main instrument. This book was also meant to be a book for all kinds of pedal freaks, not
pedal
just
users,
guitarists, actually.
Totally.
So that was a long answer to that question. What about you, Scott? What do you think?
Well, Kim was really good about not letting the book be totally dominated by Americans. I think that's like that's worth a shout out, because America's been a really important place for the development of pedals. Like, probably America and Japan are the two most important places.
Yeah.
But there's still a whole other planet out there, and Kim not being an American, reminded me of that. Like, I'm a Canadian, but still, it's easy to, especially these days, like, only look at what American companies are doing. But there's plenty of other stuff out there, and it's cool to draw attention to it. I know that we were really happy with the list of interviews we got in the end. Like, we really tried to get, like, a broad section of people, and, people that we were personally excited about as well, like the interviews that we would really want to read.
Were there any of those that you had like a little fanboy moment where you were a little starstruck that you were managing to have that conversation with?
It's difficult. We both reach for the book maybe now.
That's it.
There are some
Here's what
people that are...
One of our viewers has asked. You asked about pedals that might be missing from the book maybe version 2. What about the Pete Cornish stuff? Did you cover any of that in there, or have we just missed it?
There was one. There was one Pete Cornish pedal in there, and I guess the only thing worth saying when it comes to we did have like kind of a criteria, I guess, for like what got included and what didn't. And it's pretty simple. It's like, is there something to discuss beyond just this pedal sounds nice? Like, so if something is based on a previous pedal but sounds better, it probably wasn't going to get in the book.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing to talk about. So some
you only
pedals...
mentioned the TS808. No other.
we had a page for Tube Screamers. I mean, certain things you have to make an exception for, but
of course,
that's kind of the rule. So, I mean, not that specifically applies to Pete Cornish in any way, but we were talking about like it was difficult to decide what made the cut and what didn't, and lots of stuff got cut. But that was the easiest criteria. Is like, okay, this pedal's awesome and lots of people love it, but is there anything to say? And if the answer was no, then we could let that one go and talk about this other thing. Even if it was something simple, like an opportunity to talk about symmetrical versus asymmetrical clipping or something, like here's what this does slightly different from the TS808 or the TS9.
The SD1.
We didn't just want to be like, here's a pedal. There has to be a subject or something.
Yeah, I like how you've done that, because like you said, there was a page dedicated to Tube Screamers because there's everyone's got them, but it's not like, oh, this is about the marginal governor. It was like, this is about overdrives and this is about distortions, and then you've kind of gone in and picked out like specific examples and discussed, like we were talking about vibe earlier, and you've kind of gone, okay, this is what a vibe is. This is what a vibe isn't, but it's similar to, and that's why you think they're the same thing. And you've gone into great detail there. So, who was the most interesting person to interview then? Because famously, when people interview Carlos Santana, for instance, they always say like how that is an interview you both really look forward to and both dread at the same time, because they're really interested. He's a really interesting guy, but he could talk about anything. Who was the most fun person to interview? without
Yeah, this is it's a difficult question. This is, isn't it?
Yeah.
The most fun is probably Mike from Electroharmonics. Just rounds off by saying rock and roll, shouting into the phone. That's probably with a cigar in his hand. And so stuff like that is just that is rock and roll. And I think actually for me, I'm not a guitarist like you guys. So for me, the interviews with the makers, the pedal makers, they were a lot more musical than I thought they would be. Also some techie, nerdy stuff. But I think it was really interesting to be picking their brains and get a lot of more musical reasons to why they do the pedals they do, how they do them. A lot of personal philosophies. It's really interesting to get more behind that stuff.
Yeah,
I think
some of those interviews with the makers are really inspiring. Yeah,
man.
But it's hard to pick for me at least. Say this was the best interview or the most easiest or whatever. They all have their. That's the great part of having so many interviews. I mean, there might be some that people don't like, but there might be some that they favor in the book. There's something for everybody, I think.
That's cool. Right, let me check my questions. I was hoping you were going to go on just a little bit longer there. Yeah. Okay. Right. So, what made you start writing pedal books? But what? Because obviously you got the previous two, which go ahead and plug them. Obviously we can't see them here, but please go ahead and tell people about them. And
I have one under my computer. Yeah, just sorry, I wouldn't. This was the previous one about ERAC modules.
We can't see you.
You can see me.
Actually, yeah, I can. So I'm having a great time here, but.
Okay, yeah, the other guys can. So it's the basic. For me personally, I wanted to do this because I didn't know that much about pedals. I mean, when I started to get into this stuff, it was like all the books are like from the 70s, 80s, black and white, boring. I fall asleep every time I try to read them, and I can spend like a gazillion days on the internet watching videos. I think, but I wanted to put this into a format where you can just, have kind of an overview where you can just browse the book.
Yeah.
You have a nice visual experience too. And for me, apparently books is like, I don't know, it's more treasure troves of information and inspiration. So I wanted to, I've always wanted to, actually for me, it started out as being more like, I want to do a book with just beautiful photos of pedals. Most of them look pretty cool. It was more like a photo book in my mind when I started this years back, actually. Obviously, it turned into a lot more ugly, I'd say. And for me, the most important person to put into this cocktail with the pedals was obviously Scott, because of his knowledge and all the great videos. And I think also for us both, inspiration is a key word.
It's funny you mentioned the picture book thing. I think it was a bit of a battle because I kept trying to say too much stuff and like almost ruin the whole book. Kim was always reminding me like, no, like big pictures is nice, And that was another thing, right?
I'm a designer, though.
Yeah, and like that's also why certain subjects or things are omitted. Is if we talked about everything, the book would be this labyrinth that sucks to read. So, yeah,
and it would be kind of useless because we could only write a little bit about everything, and it would be maybe personal opinion or something. Mm-hmm. I think we attack the chapters much like what's there, what's this concept about, how does it work. Different examples of this and how to creatively utilize these kinds of effects.
Exactly. What's useful?
Yeah. It's very well done. It looks like it's been thought out really, really well. And obviously, talking to you guys is quite clear that it has. We are about 5 minutes from the top of the hour. We can go over if you guys want. I really don't mind because obviously Kim was out of the loop for
Sorry about
a
that.
while.
Yeah. No, not a worry at all.
technology happens. So I don't mind running over, but I thought I'd give you guys a heads up of how we're doing for time. I've got a couple of questions from viewers. First one is, who, from the people you've interviewed, who has the coolest pedal board? Now, were you in a position to see their pedal boards, or were they just pedal boards full of their own pedals?
It was different. Some people have, just collections of pedals, other boards. What do you think, Scott? Otherwise, I have a few examples.
I like Nick Reinhardt's board, probably because it's looping based. Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and just something I'd want to use. I think I would be able to make good music, or music I like, with his pedal board. Yeah,
I think David Torn's was also really interesting, and Matt Johnson's.
Nick has just such. He's like yourself. He can really, it's him playing when you hear it. It's very obvious it's him, and he will drag out of a pedal things that you didn't even know it can do, and it's just like, wow, how do you do that? It's just amazing. It's
really extraordinary. I saw him do a little set at NAMM at the Dwarfcraft booth, which is like the worst place to make music. So he was definitely uncomfortable and at his worst. And he just made a loop out of the most cacophonous and like chaotic sounds and made it into music. And I don't know, it's one of those moments we were talking about, like being confused by music and how it makes it better. Like, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. I have no idea. And I don't know why it sounded good. And I've tried to like do something similar multiple times, and it's just a very good relationship with his technology and his hands and everything.
You're kind of like that, but clean and pristine, aren't you? when you watch your videos, but then with a video, it's different to watching someone live at NAMM, isn't it? Because you have time to prepare that.
There's nothing like live at NAMM to get the. Yeah, I definitely go for, like I like things to be chaotic, but also like comforting and gentle. And I think, Nick doesn't care if they're dissonant and upsetting.
All the better if they are. Yeah. Okay. Greedy Greg has asked, are you guys happy with the book? Is there anything you would have changed looking at it now?
It's do you want to go first?
I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking. I'll answer it, but
okay, I can answer then. I of course I'm happy about the book. At some points during this work, I think we both thought, are we ever gonna make it? Are we gonna make it to the standard we wanted? We had really high aim for this. I'm definitely happy about it. Of course, there are things that could be different, but it's really hard. I mean, we have over 800 pedals in the book, 50 interviews. I mean, it's probably easier to just make a second book than remaking this, and I think it's a really valuable tool. I think also that there might be a few updates because something is happening all the time on the pedal market, as you guys know. But I'd say I'm pretty happy with. I seldom read my books after I've done them. But this one I've actually been browsing a lot.
Well, that kind of leads us into the next question, which you can merge that one with this question, which is also from Greg as well, Greedy Greg. He said, do you think that pedals are here to stay? And this could be a discussion between all of us, or is modeling the future? And that kind of leads into what you're saying, because things are changing all the time, but there's still a lot of people out there making analog pedals, and bloody good ones as well.
What do you say, Scott?
Yeah, I think pedals are here to stay. I think that the modeling isn't new. Like, it's been around for a while, and I find it not comforting because it doesn't really matter. But a lot of the people I know that love pedals and use them the most are also the most savvy at using a computer, and so it's not like one precludes the other. I think the more you're able to do in like an all-in-one environment, like a computer or modeling or whatever, I think the more you need the escape that pedals provide. So there's like this unintended use of pedals. Like at the time they were made, it was very practical, right? But now they have this like other function increasingly where they're a place to like get away from your computer and screens and just like have a tactile experience. And to be honest, I think they were already tested. Like I think that the test was the 80s and they passed. So like pedals are fine. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And then you had like the pod in the 90s as well, kind of made a resurgence of modeling technology. And now you get
when the pod came out.
Like the late
really
90s, I think. I believe so.
Christ.
I mean, someone fact check me. Let's have a
Snopes. Yeah, man. It's I completely agree. And even if we do get more digital pedals, so what? It's still pedals, and they do give us wonderful things like the Meris Enzo that we were talking about earlier. But there are loads and loads of pedals out there that are digital. Things like the harmony pedals, for instance, which I thought that you'd got the colour wrong in your book, but now looking at it, you hadn't.
That's good.
I said to my wife, "That's not the right colour," and it totally was. But yeah, there's certain pedals that certain effects you can't really do in an analog way, or if you can, it's not going to be particularly great, such as harmony and these sort of things. So, I think it's only going in the right direction. It's not like there's starting to be less manufacturers out there. Every week there's like 10 more. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think limitation is just awesome. Like I've never met a successful musician that doesn't like understand the value of limitation, and pedals just like serve that up to you in a convenient format. So if you don't set limits for yourself, you're never going to get anything done, and pedals just do it for you. It's great.
Yeah, it's what's it called? Option paralysis, really, isn't it? If you get something like a Helix or something along those lines, you're like, this does everything. What should I do?
Yeah,
you get this, you're going to make a harmony with it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And those things are great too, obviously. But I want to answer the book question because I think like it was. I don't think like we literally could not have tried any harder. Like we stayed up all night the last few nights before we published this. I hope that's okay to tell people, Kim. I think it's cool.
Probably still shows in our faces.
Yeah, our life expectancy. Like we definitely like shouldered the burden of making the best book we could, and we didn't have to, but we're both weird like that. And yeah, we were like crazy. We were truly rabid towards the end, and so like I can feel completely satisfied because I know that we did everything we could. And Kim was running on fumes for months. I still don't know how he did it.
Me neither. It took me some months afterwards also to get back on my feet.
To recompose.
It's like running a marathon.
It's a stupid thing to say because like at the end of the day, like, oh, good for you, you wrote a book. Like, so what? But like when you're in it, if you care, it's like extreme. It was extremely difficult. It was crazy.
I think also, I mean, the biggest reward is when just one person writes, awesome book, really helped me do this and that, or when you're actually experiencing that people are getting a smile on their face by opening the book, or being in the book. It's all worth it, I think.
No, that's fantastic. All right, finally, how did you guys meet?
I just wrote to Scott at some point, I think, and it went from there. I mean, that's what you learn in this book business, doing all these interviews. I think we've done like 150 interviews this far in all the books, and at some point you just have to pick up the phone or write an email to some people and ask if you can talk to them. And then it says Scott wasn't hostile in any way.
I always kind of look back on it with awe because when I said yes to doing it, I didn't know what was involved because I'd never written a book, but Kim did. And it's insane to trust a stranger with that kind of responsibility. Like, because at the time I wasn't going to change my life that much. I didn't think, but I stopped working. I did it full time for months, and I had no idea that was required of me. And Kim didn't tell me. So it's like, it was crazy. And I will always remember that, like, the amount of trust that it takes to co-write a book with someone like this is pretty bonkers.
I'd say you earned it, definitely. So it wasn't also, I think it whole work on this book kind of maybe surprised both of us. Obviously, when you work with someone that you haven't worked with before, you have to be very flexible and open-minded, I think. And we simply, I think we had this common goal of just making the best book we could. I think that common goal was, driving us forward.
Mm-hmm. I probably made it really hard. That's what Kim is saying in his own words.
Yeah.
Well, it goes both ways, I think. Yeah. I mean, that's sometimes you need to. Well, it was interesting, I'd say. I still, it's like when I guess it's like when musicians go on tour, like have 50 concerts in a month or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very intense period of different stuff going on in your life, and just remember it as something very special. So that's a nice memory to have, at least. And I don't know if it shows in the book, but hopefully we'll say it must be a labor of love, and it's definitely, we've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's really cool, guys. You've made some. I really want to look at Patch and Tweak, because obviously that's all about Simpson-y sort of things, but. Pedals is really where my heart lays, and you've made such a great book here. People have asked throughout this where you can buy this. If you go to www.books.com, that's books spelt with a J after the B, so BJ, no jokes, BJOOKS.com, and go there, and you guys ship all over the world, don't you?
Definitely. We have, during these times, of obviously, if you're living on Honolulu or whatever, I don't know.
Oh, yes, please.
Island, maybe it's a bit difficult. But we have resellers all over the world also with the book. You can find a list on our website.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's in Toman and probably lots of shops over in the States and etc.
Shops in the UK too. So I suggest people just ask in the local store.
Is that places like Anderton's and that sort of thing as well?
I'm not sure, actually.
We got to get into Anderton's if we're not. Shoot.
Yeah. There's a lot of stores missing out on this fantastic book.
Exactly. I mean, it's very much the gold standard for pedal information in terms of book format. It's so rigorous. It's almost kind of academic in its rigor, but it's like through reading academic texts at university and how dull they can be. It's you very much thought about the kind of the clientele and the who will be reading it as well. So I've been very impressed with what I've saw so far, and I'll definitely going to be continuing on with this one. I think it's
great to hear.
It's a nice place.
I think it would be.
Yeah, carry on.
It would be even more cool if people just try the tips in the book and share them online also, because I think some of the things, hearing and seeing what people get out of the books, really, how does it lead them to new artistic, creative, paths. That's I think the exciting thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you kind of like you've. Like for the POLs and stuff like that, you've kind of said, if you want to get the most out of this, try this tip, or this tip will help you with your digital delays, and so on and so forth. And I'm just making up examples here, but it's nice that you've kind of given pointers from your experience. And I'm guessing that would have come from Scott, because Kim, you said you're not really a guitarist, so I'm guessing that's a nice sort of way to dig into your brains, and the man behind the Knobs YouTube channel is now giving us tips on how to use pedals. Cheers, mate, because we actually needed that.
The tips were a cool part, because in the beginning, not being a writer, I was very careful, and I remember writing to friends and stuff, and it's almost like I wanted the tips to be like verified, established tips on delay use, and then after like a month, I just gave up and I made them all up. So like they made them up. So they are just like things that I discovered through using pedals for the most part. Because they're just like, they're prompts. That's what tips are, and so they are like quite personal to me, and a lot of those ideas aren't anywhere else because I made them up.
But they're good, and if they work for you, then they work, and that is one of the magical things about guitar rigs is you put a bunch of pedals together, and you're going to sound like no one else, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're hit the budget pedal.
Unless that's what you intend.
Yeah. I mean,
and
there's been tales of people like running through exact like famous people's rigs. Like I can't remember who said it, but they run through like Eddie Van Halen's rig. But I don't sound anything like Van Halen. What's going on? And
yeah,
it's
I see that.
Yeah, it's as much down to like your personal, like melding your personal style with those tips as well, and magical things will come out of it, and like new musical avenues will hopefully spring forth, and that's an exciting prospect.
So, totally. And I think we did, to your point, Lee, like we did spend extra time on pedals that people usually overlook, like flangers and ring modulators and stuff like that. Like the whole ring modulator chapter is just ideas to make your ring modulator sound nice. Because like we know what people think about these things. So yeah, like
it's very easy to make a ring modulator sound bad. Very easy. I've managed to do that quite a few times.
Have you ever managed to make it sound good? That's the question.
We shan't talk about that, Lee. We shan't talk about that.
It's possible.
Okay. So before we finish up, let me ask you guys, do you have anything else you'd like to add at all?
To add to this? Or?
Yeah. Anything else you want to add about the book before we call it a day?
No. It's a good self-defense weapon. It weighs almost like 2 kilos, so it's really good if you have a break-in in your studio or whatever.
Indeed.
Yeah. I'd say that.
Yeah, you could do some serious damage to someone with this. It's also I'm seeing a trend of weighted blankets on the internet at the moment, and this works really well for that. If you just hold it close here and just cuddle it like this, then.
Some people complain about not being able to take it on tour or take it to bed, because when they fall asleep they gotta get a blue eye or something. They drop the book on the head. So, but we couldn't make it any smaller.
We could do an audio book version. I'll read it for you.
Oh dear God! I would pay lots of money for that not to happen.
How much exactly?
At least 20 pence, if not more.
If you said 20 quid, I was definitely going to take you up on that.
Actually, I'll just add one thing, Lee. That is, if people want to have a sneak peek into the book without actually getting the book yet, we have a free PDF download on our website. Actually, of all 3 books, so they can find it in the extras menu on our website on bukes.com.
Perfect.
So there are a few interviews and some pages from all 3 books, so people can see what they're buying before they do it. Actually,
get a little taste.
Okay. I know it's an expensive book. People complain about that it's expensive and that they would rather buy a pedal. But I usually say it will save you a lot of money, because you won't buy the wrong pedals that you might do if you haven't read the book.
It's the same argument that people have about power supplies, though, isn't it? Oh, why am I buying this horribly expensive isolated power supply when I can get the 20 quid one from China? You're like, well,
my favourite pedals are compressors and EQs, because I think every pedal board should start with compressors and EQs, but everyone has the same sort of approach to them as well as they do to power supplies and those sort of things.
Yeah,
it's
not doing anything. This compressor's rubbish. Yeah. So,
but the book is really good fun. It's We've sent a couple to people who wouldn't have normally bought the book, who've said similar sort of things, and they've got them and they've gone, actually, this is really bloody good.
Absolutely.
And I did that purposely to see what they would say, because I knew that they would like it from looking at it myself online. And yeah, you guys have done an enormously wonderful job. Well done. You really have done a great job. So
thanks,
yes.
guys.
Woo!
Excellent.
That was the most pathetic round of applause ever, but the
the thought was there. The thought was there. And that seems like a lovely place to wrap it up, doesn't it, Lee?
It does indeed, guys. Right, so Kim, Scott, thank you very, very, very much for joining us. It's been lovely to have you on.
This is awesome.
Thank you for having us.
No, thank you. And thank you for persisting as well, Kim, because your technical issues, that would be enough to put anyone off, and you've soldiered on, so thank you so much for that.
Never give up.
We have been there. We have, especially in the early days of doing the live streaming, we was like, what's going on? Oh my God, I can't get back on, and all these sort of things. The stream dropping out 5 times in a row. It's a pain in the bum.
Indeed.
So, yeah. Right. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining in and watching us today, and all the listeners watching us back on the podcast later. Thank you for listening in, and we'll see you all soon in the regular podcasts. So, see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Ta-da,
Right.
Bye.
You can wave, Kim, but people can't see you. I'll wave for you. Here we go.